We can be proud of our literacy in Sri Lanka. Of the population, 95%, with the small difference between men and women, the population is able to read a sentence, read and understand a sentence written in their mother tongue, which is good. But in today's, what's important is not just literacy. What we need is digital literacy. Digital literacy is measured by our statistics department as simply as those who have used the internet in the previous year, which is good enough. Our statistics show that it's 42% for men and 37% or something little less for women. But the important thing is using the internet. How do we use the internet? Digital literacy, actually, the definition goes beyond that. The real definition behind digital literacy is whether we know how to find information, and once we find the information, are we able to tell the good from the bad, and then how do we use that and how do we share that? So what percent of the 40%, how many of us are able to do that properly? That's a very good question we need to ask ourselves. Do we, when we get something on the internet, on Facebook, how do we forward that? Do we check to see where it came from? Do you have any idea? Do we know whether it's true? If it's not true, do we just simply forward it? Or I think we have a responsibility to say where you got it from and that you have not checked it. But this is interesting, that you might say. But we have to be very careful when we forward something, because that is one reason why we have so much misunderstanding, so much fake news, and so much hate news that's floating around. Each of us have a responsibility to make sure that we use the information wisely and use it with some literacy, with digital literacy. But there are issues, of course, when you use the internet. I think violence or harassment on the internet is a real issue for women, we have heard. Women are, for some reason, women are targeted more than others. And when women post something on the internet, the reactions they get sometimes can be overwhelming for the women. I think this is something we really need to pay attention to. That's where first, when you post something, we have to make sure that we are not harassing anybody. You can be careful, but don't be afraid. Go out there, use the internet. It's ours. It's ours to take. It's a whole world out there. And for us women, we've got an opportunity that our parents, grandparents never had. Let's use it.